We started STEAM Studio 5 years ago with the premise that we want kids to understand that it's okay to learn differently. There's a lot of different learning styles. And so students come to STEAM Studio and they really figure out that, hey, I may not be doing well in the classroom, but here I can thrive. And that is a real eye-opener for a lot of students, because we've seen tragedies where kids fail at school and they think they're not smart, and it affects them for a lifetime.
The thing that STEAM Studios offers is that the students are asked to solve some real-world problems. When teachers are under the demands of standardized testing and yes and no answers, we sometimes get away from that in the classrooms. And it's such an important skill that I'm really glad that STEAM offers our students to get the collaboration piece of working with their peers and opening up that critical thinking.
I think that children, elementary school through high school, being able to have exposure to a place like STEAM Studio and Gould Evans are able to do some goal setting. If you ask a lot of children, to even high schoolers, what they want to be when they grow up, they're going to say something that's relatable to them.
But if you don't know an engineer, and your parents don't know an engineer, and your teacher is not connecting you to an engineer, there's a huge disconnect and a cliff that you walk off of. Place really matters.
The environment in which you learn is so important that I've been exposed to now, and just the different methods and different instructional ways is so important. Giving our students an opportunity to get out of KCK and see other places is real important too.
When we talk about the entrepreneurial mindset, we think much more broadly than starting a business, which is where most people pigeonhole it. So it's around working through ambiguity, working on teams, sharing your idea. It's all these things that employers are looking for in kids. A lot of it's confidence.
And what STEAM does is bring these kids in and put them in a professional environment around individuals with a professional demeanor, and teaches them what real life can be like.
They see that someone has an investment in their future. They see that someone cares. They see that someone wants them to succeed, and it's fun for them. And for kids, it has to be fun.
Their social class should not deny them the opportunities to learn in a way that suits their needs.
As a Cerner leader and someone who engaged with and hired a lot of talent, what we looked for were power skills and attributes almost first. So really looking for, basic things like integrity, the ability to communicate, and frankly also drive. And then we would go to the technical skills.
If you come out of school with having done nothing real, everything is purely academic and no real world learning scenarios, you come out with no applicable experience. So any opportunity we have to infuse professionals and real workspaces into these kids' perspective and education experience, the more prepared they're going to be when they come out looking for jobs. And that's what the interaction with professionals allows in the type of experience that STEAM Studio puts on.
There's a tremendous amount of traffic that comes in from each classroom and each bus of young people that gets dropped off at Gould Evans' front door and comes in to have an amazing learning experience that they get to take back with them to that building down the street and to home, and they get to spread that learning and that potential to their siblings, to their parents, and to the people they know.
So having the fundraising from STEAM Studio, having the bus provide them transportation is very important to get them out, because the reason why I even work here is because I know all kids deserve a chance, and going to STEAM Studio is giving them that experience that they're going to need for later on in life.
Just because a kid can make do in class doesn't mean that they're going to excel in class, and STEAM Studio really allows kids to thrive by doing things the way that aligns with the way they naturally learn, and that can impact them over their entire life. It can impact their learning potential. It can impact whether they go to college. We need to really take that to heart and understand that we need to offer kids alternative ways to approach their learning.